You know, in 2024, we're seeing Bible prophecy unfolding before our eyes like never before, happening with such pace and intensity, just like Jesus described what happened as we were getting closer to his return. You know, something that we as people that look to prophecy, one of the main things we look for is what is happening in Israel and surrounding areas in the Middle East. And at the moment we see a tension that is escalating, and it's dramatically increasing to a climax. Even with the news of the death of one of the Hamas leaders, what I wanted to do was to actually show you what is happening there at the moment, but also to show you one of the main reasons why I believe this is happening with intensity right now. What I'll ask you to do, like always, is to watch them full so you can actually get the full context, but also smash the like button so that someone who does not know Christ may stumble across this and get to the understanding of who Christ truly is. But what's happening in the Middle East and with Israel, have a look at what's happening just recently.
I see it with my eyes, a regional religious war that's going to burn everything. Now the world has an opportunity to prevent this war. All our resistant factions should be ready.
Israel has just confirmed reports that it has killed a top Hamas leader in Gaza. In a statement, the Israeli military said the IDF killed 3 militants during military operations in Gaza, and previously said it was one of those soldiers by the name of Yahya Sinwar. He is Hamas's top leader. He is believed to be one of the chief planners behind the October 7th attacks against Israel. This is a breaking story.
So it's a long struggle, but it is a struggle not between Israel and Hamas, as I said, not even between Israel and Hezbollah. It's a struggle between the West and this horrendous idea, which is the opposite of everything we hold dear, and its representatives today, which are today Iran and its close alliance with Russia. I would just add as a footnote that our troops have now gone into these deep tunnels in Lebanon, and that we're being prepared for Hezbollah troops to come across the border and massacre our civilians. They have found the most sophisticated Russian arms in these trenches, and the Houthi rebels, Iranian-backed rebels in Yemen, have been firing hypersonic rockets at us, very fast rockets. Where do you think they get them from? From Iran, and where does Iran?
You know, when we look at all of the surrounding countries around Israel, you know, they harbour such intense hatred for Israel. You know, without going into the nuances of it, when you look throughout the last kind of 60, 70 years, you can see it's developed with such intensity. One of the main things that people ask me is what is happening, why is it, what are kind of the surrounding countries believing about Israel at the moment and even over a period of time. And here's what they believe, and then afterwards I'm going to show you one of the main reasons why they're like this.
Since the Israeli enemy targeted all of Lebanon, we have the right from a defensive position to target any point in the Israeli enemy's entity.
وأن طوفان الأقصى الذي كان عبارة عن تطور للعمليات وصولا إلى أن تفتح معركة كبرى مع الاحتلال هو يؤسس للتحرير، لأن التحرير هو معركة كبرى وكبرى جدا مع الاحتلال. ولا يمكن أنك تأسس لمعركة التحرير بإشعال الحطب. أنت تؤسس لمعركة التحرير بمعركة بهذا الحجم وبهذا النوع. نعم. وإذا ربنا كتب لبعضنا أن يعيش، إن شاء الله ربنا يكتب لكم طول العمر وإياكم. بعد 10 سنين أنا لا أظن أن خارطة هذه المنطقة ستكون إسرائيل موجودة فيها، وسيقول الناس الله يرضى عليهم اللي أطلقوا طوفان الأقصى لأنهم كتبوا السطر الأول في نهاية إسرائيل. İnşallah. İnşallah. İnşallah يكون هذا الزمن.
Edilmiş topraklar hezeyanının varacağı yer büyük bir hüsran ve hezimet olacaktır. Bakınız, bundan 1 yıl önce, bundan hiç şüpheniz olmasın, İsrail bir Siyonist terör örgütüdür.
When we see this not just in the Middle East, but we see this with people from them countries that are living in the likes of England and even other countries, that the intensity and hatred towards Israel will never be hindered. But when we look at what's happening at the moment in Israel and in the Middle East, people always ask, you know, what's the main goal here? Why is there such an outright attack like this? Yes, you know, we know that there's a conflict between Gaza and Israel at the moment, which is one thing, but all of the other countries have felt that way for many, many years. This is not just something that's happened recently. And there's one thing that I believe that's going to happen very soon that even those surrounding countries know, and it's this.
Do you think there's a real possibility of Israel rebuilding the temple anytime soon?
Well, I personally think the Antichrist will have to be on the scene before they can rebuild. That's my own personal opinion. But I think what folks don't know, and it's such a key kind of ingredient here, is one of the reasons for the Hamas attack is they are very upset that the little red heifers, there are 4 of them now, the holy cows, as I call them, the holy cows are ready for even for Passover. And my understanding is one will be sacrificed near Passover. Obviously, they don't have the Temple Mount yet, but they're still going to do it perhaps on the Mount of Olives. So this is one of the main reasons Hamas struck Israel is over these holy cows.
You know, on many occasions, I've always said when it comes to Israel, they will never, ever find peace there. They just never will. The only time peace is going to come to that land is when Christ comes back and he is ruling and reigning. And then the Jews will turn around and say, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. That's the only time Israel will find its peace. And up to that time, it's going to be turmoil. And they will have, obviously we know, Daniel and Scripture and Revelation tells us that they will have a false sense of peace there for a short time until all hell breaks loose. Excuse the pun. But remember this, we see all of these things happening and other things which I'll get into on a different video. Many things are happening that are lining up with what Scripture tells us in terms of prophecy, and we're seeing it happening. We should be looking at this with a sense of hope, that we know that Christ is coming back, but also we live in a period of time where we could still share the gospel that Christ lives and Christ still reigns, and telling people that he can be found, that he is right there at the door. If only you would open it, Christ is there. Remember, regardless of all the chaos that's going on in the world, like always, God is always in control, and keep the faith.